Okay, so the next thing I want to put you guys through is the else if selection conditionals. In every programming language, there are three-tiered operations. The first one is the selection, where you have categories of or parts of a code being extracted to perform specific tasks. Selection. Okay, then you have iteration. The iteration repeats certain sequence. Popularly it's referred to as loops. All right, so the third one is the sequence. The sequence combines the selection and the iteration to form the ordered sequence, which of course is the algorithm. Now, in this specific section, I want to demonstrate the ability of PHP in using selection with respect to the if-else statements. And how we're going to do this is that we're going to create a simple letter grade system in PHP where we have the scores that are less than 40 as F, from 40 to 45 as E, 46 to 50 as D, 55 to 55, 51 to 55 as C, 56 to 60 as B2, 61 to 70 as B1, 7 to 200 as A. So let's dive into the compiler, the Eclipse compiler, and see how we can achieve this. Dive into the code and design a simple grade system. Now we're still working within the same environment, the Eclipse. All we have to do is simply create a new PHP file and give it a name, its unique name, grade system.php. Okay, then we click on finish. Of course, we are saving here. Okay, so now this is a blank document. We're going to start quickly by coding our HTML templates. Okay, now we all have our head and the closing tag, two closing tags. In between the head, we have the title. Okay, so we can call it grade. Let's just say call it letter grade system in PHP. Okay, then let's quickly insert our body tag where we'll do most of the visuals. Okay, so that is that. Now in this body we're going to create a simple table to hold our form. Like I said, we don't need this caption. So beneath this table we're going to create a string. Let's say form. Let's start with the form before the string. Form name, let's just call this grade system. Okay, and method, let's give it the method of posts. Let's close that list for now. Now within this form we're going to create a table row. Okay, inside of the table row there's going to be a table data. Now the first data should be score. Let's say enter score. That's for the table data. Now create another table data and give the inputs. Yes, inputs. Say input name. Let's give it score. Okay. Type should be text. Let's select text, then let's simply close that tab there. Now beneath this, we're going to put our submit button, or rather than retype this, we'll just pick this as a useful code, usable code, and paste. Now we won't need this label here, we need the input. Lest we forget, we've not closed the table row. We want to keep all this in the table row anyway, so we're going to close this table row much later. Now here we have the score, and then we have here as text. Simply change this to submit. Okay, now we'll try and give this a value, and the value should be enter raw score. Okay, yes. So then finally we're going to step back and close our table row. Yeah, so what we've just simply done is that we've created this whole thing into just a single row, a singular row. Okay, now the next thing we want to do here is that we're going to code the PHP script for the scoring system. Up there, simply put the PHP tag, and let's code a simple script to capture this event. Now here let's put of course score will be equivalent to posts. I just select your post there. Posts score, and the score we're referring to here is the score name here. Okay, here, not here, because this name is let's say is capturing the event for the submit. So if we're going to call this in the PHP code, the name we're going to call or relate to will be score. I'll explain more of that in a moment. So score is score, then you close this, then we simply go into if is set, use if is set. If is set, there should be something like this here. Yeah. If is set post, it has to be consistency. If you use post in your code, initial code, then you should be able to use it here as well. Now if you said post, the post name now is core. Okay, the post name is core. So right here we're going to ensure that the same score name that we put here is the one here. So we put score. Okay, we've closed it. We need to close this as well. Then open the curly brace and begin to code our grade system. Okay, if is set, let's move this into this. Okay, then here we can initialize our score as empty or null. Then if it sets, okay, then beneath this place we're going to declare some if else statements. And before we do that, I also want to add something here. The grade. Let's say grade. Let's declare available here and say grade letter. Okay. So here we say if score is clearly less than 40. If it is clearly less than 40, then we should make our grid letter. Yeah, make our grid letter echo F. That's the first stage. Okay, then of course place our terminal there. If score is less than 40, we should echo F. I think that will be there. Then the next thing is we're going to initialize else if. Yeah, I think the reason why this is giving us this cross sign here is the braces. There's supposed to be braces here, braces within. Yeah, of course, that eliminates the cross sign, because the very good thing about Eclipse is it gives us indications that once there is an error, it's going to immediately, it's in real time, it will tell you where the error is, and then you can make adjustments before you get to the runtime. Okay, so we've been able to establish the score for less than 40. Now, we've also told the algorithm to check if the score is in between 41 and 45. Okay, less than or equals to 41, then less than 45. Okay, now the next thing is we're simply going to take this code and use it as a successor to the next line of code. So here we have 45. Here we're going to have, let's say this is 46. Let's say 46 to like 50. So this will be D. Then over here, since it's 50, 46 to 50, this should be 51 to 40. Let's make this 55. Okay, as our C. Then the next line here should be 56 all the way to 60. Let's make this B2. Then 61. So 65 should be B1. Then then we should have from 61 or 60, 66 all the way to 100 as A. Okay, I think we are almost ready now. Just need to do some check-ins here. If the score is less than 41, this ampersand, this double ampersand, stands for adjoining. You're trying to join two statements together to correlate and check the equality or the relation, the balance relation between two sides of an equation. In this case, we are trying to check the balance between, or the values between 41 and 45. And then the grade letter should be E, while between 46 and 50 should be D. This should be greater than, and then this should be greater than, not less than. It should be greater than, and then greater than, not less than. It should be greater than, because we are going higher, not lower. Okay, so now we're checking in between. This is less than or equals to, and then it should be greater than or equals to. Okay, so let's try that out now and see the output. Now before we close this algorithm, we're going to make a simple string here and say, let's just call this simple string. String is equals to echo we simply want it to output the results. So we say echo the letter grade for this score is grade letter. Later. So we close the statement there. Okay, I think we're almost ready to run the scripts and check. Ready now from start to finish, and all we did was of course create this comment up here, then the score we initialized as null. Then within this if is set function that checks the event for the submit button, just after that the major algorithm that we need for the scoring system is done. We initiate a score to trap the incoming value from the input. This is from the input, the name in the input, this input here, down here. Okay, it's coming from the next thing is here. We initiated the grade letter as null as well, because eventually what will be filled in this empty space is any of these conditionals. These are conditionals. The first condition checks if it is less than 40. If the grade is 40, less than 40, it outputs F. If it is greater than 40, greater than or equal to 40, and at the same time less than equal to 45, then the letter is E. Now if it is the score is greater than 45 and the score is also less than or equal to 50, the grade letter is D. For here, we have if the score is greater than 50 or less than or equals to 55, the grade letter is C. Now, if the score is greater than 55 and the score is less than or equal to 60, the grade letter is B2. Then if the score is greater than 60 and at the same time less than or equal to 70, then the grade letter is B1. And finally, if the score is greater than 70 and at the same time less than or equal to 100, then we have letter A. Yes, grade letter A. So we are captured from all the way from 0 to 100. This is the beginning of 0 and then this is 100. This is the highest limit here. So each of these limits carries a range 40 to 45 and greater than 45 to 50. So it captures completely 0 to 100. So let's go to the main system and test it and see how this runs. Okay, let's run on the server. Now, the very first thing I want us to check is 0 to 40. Let's put 0, display. Okay, so you can see that the performance grade letter is F. Let's check 39. 39. Yes, it's still F. Let's check 40. 40 is E. Okay, performance grade letter is E. Then let's check 48. So we have D. Let's check 52. C. Let's check 60. B2. Let's check 66. B1. And then let's check 90. A. So this is it. This is just how simple it is to create a grade system, and it doesn't get any harder. You just need to be persistent. Like I say, be persistent and be focused and create time for coding, and before you know it, you are improving and getting better and better as a skilled software engineer.